Hello my brothers and sisters of the Order, welcome back to the Order. I am Celtic Templar, and yes y'all, today we are talking about another new weapon that I have, and that will be this beautiful bad boy. Say hello to my new pole hammer, or as it's called, a war hammer, which it's not. This is a pole hammer. There's a huge difference between a pole hammer and a war hammer, and that is pole hammers are two-handed type weapons, while war hammers are a universal style of weapon, mainly if it's a one-handed or two-handed use. So though, it's a pretty awesome type weapon. Now this is actually the Windlass Battlecry Fiore War Hammer, and this one I really do love. I love this, and I saw it, oh, they have this on sale, have to get it. And such, I was looking for a pole hammer, especially for our late medieval style armor, and I found it. Now, this is made by Windlass Steelcraft. Its overall length is 44 inches. Its weight is 4 pounds and 6.3 ounces. Head width is about, I want to say, 8 3/4. Pole width is about 1 1/4 of an inch. And as well, the top spike is 3.5 inches. The hammer length is about 3 1/8 of an inch. And the spike, or the back spike, it's about 4 inches. And its steel is 1065 high carbon steel. Now, I hear many people already, Templar, where did you get this beast of a weapon? Well, simple. I got this from cultofathena.com. And yes, Cult of Athena sells this. They also sell them in other groups, such as, I think it was Museum Replicas and such. There are many groups that do sell them. I will leave links down below if any of y'all are looking to buy some. Now, I hear many people already asking, Templar, how did you get this? Well, as I said, they had it in stock, so I had to get it. Because, one, I have been looking for a weapon like this. And this thing is very awesome. Now, whenever I'm holding this thing, I'm just thinking of a dwarven warrior, for example, because, one, this looks like something a dwarf would use. And by far it does. Now, I really do love this because the fact is, when it comes to the spike, you can easily do a thrust, but I don't like the spike because it looks like as though it makes the weapon look slightly bent because it only has the triangular shape when it should have the 4 design shape. But, yeah. But as well, the crow's beak, as we can understand why it's called that, because it looks like a crow's beak. And that's why I love this hammer design shape. If none of y'all know why this is shaped the way it is, simple. This actually would make the power strike through the helmet, and as well through the helmet itself, not especially going through the helmet, but the power of it would be triangulated into the skull. And it doesn't matter if you are fully armored, and it doesn't matter if you do miss or something like that, and only slightly graze him, this will cause him to probably have a bad day. Now, I do want to put this out here. This has blackened style wood, which that is actually pretty cool. I do love that. And due to the fact it's has blackened design type design on it, it makes it less likely to rust. So that's probably a good thing to get. Now I want to put this out here. We will be testing this on a 14 gauge steel, our hardened 14 gauge steel helmet, not the normal one y'all always see me use, like this bassinet, because this bassinet is kind of the mild version compared to the hardened version. Though I'm still wondering what might happen if I actually did use this. Yes, we've already got the video ready for y'all. But you will see what happens to our hardened gauge steel helmet compared to the normal. So, I'm still wondering, will it cause enough damage? Probably a lot. So, why don't we get into it? Alright y'all, now let's start our test. Now first we're actually gonna try and, well, pretty much test it out on our 14 gauge steel Viking helm. Now, Vikings did not have something like this at that time period, but this is our most hardest of 14 gauge steel. So I'm thinking it might actually do something. So,
why don't we get started, shall we? Now, also, soon as well, we will also be doing mail tests with our upper thrust spike, which I think we'll probably get through this 8mm mail. But let's get to it. Now, what we're going to do is pretty much do the normal wax to the skull. We're also going to do the spike to the cranium and such. So, yeah, we're just going to pretty much unload on this guy and see what happens. Let's get started. Ooh. Oh, that is an impact. The piece alone just managed to crave it inward. It did slightly dent the head, but not as much as it did the helmet. That's I think, a fatal blow. Let's go a couple more, shall we? Wow, that did some damage. It just pockmarked this guy's skull. Maybe we should try the crow's beak. Oh, it is beating our Viking helm like nothing compared to the other weapons before. This is my new favorite toy. Why don't we try and hit the nasal guard? This is probably going to be the harder part since I'm right-handed. So I would have to do a fatal strike to his skull. And we got our impact right here. Not much damage though, because this is pretty much the harder type steel to stop certain blows. Oh no, it did its job without damaging the weapon that much.
Now, I want to show you all real quick. We have our heavy impacts. I don't know if y'all can see this marker here, but those two impacts, those are from our war hammer, or pole hammer. We do have a couple of others, but they're not as deep, and I don't know if I can get them in sight, but anywhere you see them, like literally, they're sticking like literally, they're right mostly in this diameter area. They're always this little piece that's sticking up, because it's the same as the others, but that is heavily damaged. This guy would probably be dying from a concussive type design blow. And I think we're probably rocked our center of gravity on our helmet a little bit because it's opening up. Okay, now we're going to try our mail test on some padding. This, seeing what it already did to our helmet, I'm kind of worried what might happen to the mail. Now this is of 18 gauge, 8mm rings. And this is like the late type medieval stuff that you would see, say, knights in plate armor wearing. So I'm kind of wondering what it might do to this. Now I want to put this out here. This weapon entirely, when it came up to go in there with mail, if this guy was wearing full mail armor, this
thing would probably just wreck him. So, let's try thrust. Oh, did punch out one of the male links, but that's about it. But yeah, if this was a human person, I don't think he probably would have survived. Let's try that again. Quick. Gotta make sure he didn't dent the... Because this is metal, so yeah, I know I need to get a punching bob for this. Just a nicked ring, that's about it. But technically this is male. But the way we have it, if this was a human body, this guy would have probably felt like he got hit probably by Thor's hammer or something. Because one, you don't walk away from a thrust. Especially if it's something like this that did wreak havoc on it. Oh no, this is definitely a devastating weapon.
Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that. Now, I want to put this out here. While testing the weapon and moving about with it, it was easy and such. In fact, since this only weighs a little bit of an amount of pounds and such. So, how much power did we drive into our helmet? Simple. A lot. Because this is probably the most horrifying. Look at that helmet. It is now peppered. That is all from our hammer bit when it hit down on it. This is by far one of the most horrifying things you could probably ever do to a guy. Now, would this guy survive? Maybe. So, that's saying something. And this is our hardened 14-gauge steel helmet from Lords of Battles. If y'all want to buy one, be my guest. I will leave a link down below, as well also our video as well. And what about this out here? This thing is because this thing has been a pain to go through, and even though I do try and strike at it as much as I can, it does not cause as much damage as, like, literally none of my weapons have caused as much damage as this, our pole hammer now. Because, one, the impact shock alone to this thing, because due to the fact, as I said, with these design on the hammer, that design of the forking of the design would just cause it to impact and as well engrave into someone's skull. So if this guy was probably say, well, a savage barbarian or whatever, this thing would probably go through the helmet. The power itself would probably go through the helmet and kill the guy. Now, what might happen if it was probably a guy without a helmet? Your guess is as good as mine, especially if, say, for example, if we were to, say, use this weapon on, like, say, a watermelon. In other words, that thing's just going to go right through the skull, and it's just going to pull out brain matter. Still, though, this thing that's a devastating killing weapon. And by far, I love it. Now, many of you might wonder, how dangerous is this thing? Why would this thing be so dangerous? Simple. The power alone of a warhammer is dangerous enough. So if you use two hands, guess what it's dangerous for? Taking care of knights. And in such, medieval knights were known to use a weapon like this. Although I may have already people saying, Templar, you should start getting into your full plate armor. Yeah, I know, but I'm not a fan of plate armor. I never am. I really am not a fan of plate armor. I am a fan of mail, laminar, and helmets. That's about it. But as soon as we get to the full plate, I don't like it. But I know I will not hear any of you stop pestering me to get into the armor, so yeah. Now I hear many people already asking, tell me, what might happen if you struck a guy, I want to say 16 gauge or 18 gauge steel helmet? Your guess is as good as mine. It's probably not going to last as long as this, and it might probably have a hole straight through it, because, one, this thing is harder steel. So, if this pole hammer did this to our helmet, just think what might happen if we did this to a lesser steel gauge. God, that'd be kind of scary. In fact, we could probably see why these weapons were, well, used in the design group, which I want to put this out here, y'all. This design of weapon is very horrifying, and we can see why weapons like this were still being used while a sword was starting to diminish in history. Because, one, it's very dangerous to get hit in the head with a club-like weapon or a bludgeoning weapon like a mace or a warhammer or even a pole hammer, comparing that to a sword. Now, I want to also put this out here. There's even the Windlass Steel crest on this, which you can't exactly see this because this thing is of a darkened steel. So yeah, that's the image that we always get from the Windlass Steelcraft. So yeah. Anyways, but now maybe you might wonder, Templar, because of the power in this, which part of the weapon would you probably use the most? I would probably have to use the hammer. I know, maybe I could already hear many people saying, oh, already saw that coming. Well, yeah, because it has enough power to cause that damage. But the spike, as soon as the spike makes contact, if this was to make contact with the lesser steel quality, like say 18 gauge, this would just be devastating. But as well, I could probably also hook and stab, which that's probably the horrifying part, is the stab, 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 stab. Especially in a guy if he's wearing mail. Now, what might happen if we hit a guy wearing laminar with this thing? I don't think it would have ended well, because one, we already understand what happened to my Windlass Steel armor a long while back, or as well my laminar armor a while back. It did not end well. That armor was made by Lords of Battles, and they made a good quality armor. It stood up, but I don't think it's going to stand up against something like this, which this thing has been known to cleave through helmets like nothing. So what might happen if it's going to go through 18 gauge steel quality laminar plates which are only attached by leather? So my point, it's not going to end well. It's just going to be horrifying. So yeah. Still though, I am a fan of this weapon. If any of y'all want to buy one of these, be my guest. I will leave links down below in the description where you can get one of these badass boys. Right now, they're discontinued on Cult of Athena, or out of stock. Which, Cult of Athena, they're going through the major problem right now because of the COVID problem. But if any of y'all want to, you can try and hopefully, well, get your hands on them. And as well, I also hear Cult of Athena is hiring. If any of y'all want to, you could try and join their group. I will leave a link down in their careers section for you, because they are looking for some new hires because of the COVID incidents right now. So yeah, anyways, as I said, guys, it's best to help out our local workers and such as that, who give us these beautiful weapons. Lucky for me, I managed to get this before the whole incident. I got this like about a couple of months back, so yeah. So still, if you all want to get these, I will leave links down below in the description where you can get them. And as such, if any of y'all want to see any of my other videos relating to the, well, other armor and equipment I mentioned in the video, I will leave links down below in the description. But anyways, guys, hopefully you liked this video, like and subscribe for more. And as well, if y'all have any type of weapon we should do a review on, please let me know down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to get right into it. Anyways, guys, it's been Templar. Hopefully see y'all in the next one. Have a great day.